Good evening. This is a meeting of the Cemetery Commission. It is August the 28th, 2018, and we have just a few things on the agenda. Debbie Hines, the Secretary Treasurer, is to my left, and Betsy Youngsma, our new member, is to our right. Do you want to talk about the minutes, or do you want to go ahead with?
No, let's start. Let's follow the agenda. The first thing on the agenda is the minutes of 7:24.
Go ahead.
I have copies here for, I think I do. Well, Shirley, you have yours, right? I gave you a copy of the minutes and I sent them to you. Yeah, I gave them to you.
You did?
Yes, I did.
No, I don't have one with me.
Okay, well then, I'm gonna make a motion.
Yours?
I sent them to you via
Minutes, I have an
email.
agenda.
That's
you did
because
get
I
the
gave that
minutes?
to you, but I sent you the minutes via email.
Okay.
All right, well then,
You don't have them, though.
No.
Okay, there's a real mix-up with that.
I make a
isn't there?
motion then that we table the 7:24 minutes until our September meeting.
It's fine. I second it.
So moved. Okay, talk about that.
Okay, Doug is not here yet. So I will discuss what I did at Douglas Center Cemetery.
Old
Okay.
business?
Yeah, with the update, we had been, John Ferno and I went to the cemetery today along with Adam, and in the back part of the cemetery, this section here, which, just for record purposes, this is going to be Section A, Section B, and oops, this little section over here is Section C. Okay? There was, from the third row here, and then where Mr. Newman and my husband are buried, there was a very big gap. And it was brought to my attention when Leon Mazinski passed away. You can come in and have a seat.
Hey, Doug.
When Leon Mazinski passed away, that he had sold the plot, and that was when I came to find out that Mr. Mazinski's and one other were out of this setup. So we went to the cemetery today. We added actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 more plots. And I think all but 2 are actually, there's already people. So later, after our other business is conducted, I have deeds that I've written up, new deeds with their new numbers, and we can sign them, and I can then put them in the mail to them. Okay? That was, yeah, that was it. For that, as far as, you know, the renumbering of the plots. Mr. Needham?
Good evening.
Hi, I'm Debbie Hines. This is Shirley Cooney, our chairperson.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
I saw all those
A nice
cars.
hot day, huh?
I know, that's why I'm changed.
I know, I know,
I saw all those cars, I said, hope that's not my meeting.
I know, right?
I know.
You must be adding something in the gym.
I think they are, yeah. I saw some people walking that way.
I think basketball tonight.
Oh, nice night for it.
So you'd like to, go ahead, you'd like to present something to us about
Here's your copy.
our
Yeah, but I
cemetery?
have a copy.
You have a
You-
copy, right?
Yep. I do.
Okay.
Yeah, Betsy had asked me to go take a look at it, do a site walk with the problem with over the tomb continuing to erode. Obviously, could be detrimental to the tomb down the road, I'm sure. So I just kind of, there's roughly a 60 square foot area, like from the stone wall along 16 in around the tomb, and then back. I felt that would probably be the area to take care of to address the problem. So again, where it's all eroding, so what my thoughts were, what my plan was to spray it with an herbicide. There's a lot of poison ivy, invasive vegetative growth and so forth in that area. I don't think it becomes a conservation issue because I think that's way in the back. So my thought was to spray that with an herbicide. 10-day residual on the herbicide, then it's gone. So it's not a long-term problem.
Right,
If
right.
you would, not a residue-wise. And then after that, we can do what we need to do. So my thought was to knock everything down, dethatch it, which is get all of the dead matter out, try to expose as much of the topsoil that's there, and then top dress everything. A lot of the top dressing, obviously, where the tomb is, it can't be done mechanically. Can't be done mechanically. It's got to be done by hand, only because
That's
of
right.
the tomb.
We can't
and
have
so forth.
machinery on there, no.
Exactly.
No.
So that
I
was my
understand.
thought. So yeah, spraying the vegetative growth, and then 3 to 4 inches of screen loam over basically the flat areas, and then over the tomb, I thought, approximately 6 to 8 inches of topsoil over there to give that a good base again.
Right.
And as anything else, you could seed it if you wanted to, and then somebody's got to water it by hand, which is impossible. A lot of your problem there obviously is erosion. The grass declines, it
Yeah,
erodes.
and the drought, and then the rain, and then,
Right.
stuff like that. I know,
Right.
yeah.
So I talked to John Furno, and there is a water line running down the roadway there.
Right.
There's no electricity there, which is
Right.
one setback. But we would go with battery-operated zone valves.
Yeah.
Tie them into that line, so we would be able to irrigate that whole area automatically on a per-time basis, daily basis, twice-a-day basis.
Right.
And then, obviously, down the road, too, there's maintaining it as far as fertilization goes. If you want to have a good lawn, you got to keep it fertile, soil fertile, keep the crabgrass out, broadleaf weeds, grubs, and so forth. So it would require perpetual maintenance down the road. But I think this would be a way, I feel this would be a way to solve
Sure.
that problem.
Sure.
So, and that's basically it. I just told Betsy that I would be willing to come in and just go back and forth. Any dialogue you want to, present, we could go back and forth with it.
I just wanted to not raise your hopes up too high.
Yeah.
That's all. We're on an extremely limited budget.
Right, yeah.
And as you can see from the condition of the cemeteries, that it's a hit and miss affair,
Yeah.
with a few hundred here and a few hundred there.
Right.
That kind of thing. So.
And I knew that. I don't have a problem with presenting something like this, and
Right.
it doesn't come
Yeah,
to
and we
fruition.
would have to go before, the finance board, and they would have to appropriate, because our budget doesn't come anywhere near that.
Right.
So, in other words, it's just a question of funding. Mm-hmm. And it's what we would love to do.
Right.
I mean, right now, it can be a little disheartening, right? But
Yeah.
we just chip away.
You do what you can do.
That's right.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's
that's
right.
all you can
Yep,
do.
Yep,
Yeah.
that's for sure. But if we're doing, we did do the prep some time back. It was when were those pictures taken? About 6, 7 years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, no, it was longer than that because it was before I was on.
Was it?
The commission,
Well, I'll say
yes.
10 years then. Yeah. But, you're right. It needs constant care,
Right.
And
then proper mowing down the road. I mean, I don't know who cuts it now. I think the best thing, we had talked about it, Betsy and I too, staying off it with bigger equipment.
Right.
Doing it with smaller equipment, and then that's another,
From what I understand, I think they weed whack that area.
okay,
Mainly, because they watch out for the stones.
right.
So that could also be why the mowing of it looks different in comparison to the other parts that are, in fact, mowed.
Yeah, and that's important too. You
Yeah,
start going over
yeah.
with a big machine and you
We
start.
ran into big trouble, probably 15, 16 years ago with a lot of damage, a lot of stone damage, and it was pretty awful,
Yeah.
you know.
It's
And
tough.
it's just, they get
That's a tough cemetery.
young people in to do work, and, you know, there's no vested interest. And it was just get the job done and get the heck out.
Right, which unfortunately with a cemetery with, you know,
right.
the sentimental and the memories and so forth, and then, you know,
Well, those stones are basically irreplaceable. I'm not saying
Right.
that you can't replace them, but you know, there are stones that you expect to stay there for a lifetime, you know, and not
Yeah.
be damaged or broken. So,
Right.
yeah, we did have a problem. We had, I think it was in excess of 30 plus stones that were damaged.
wow, yeah.
Yeah. Actually, we have more than that now.
Well, now we do with age, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, depending what the stone is, as far as
That's
is
right.
it a blue stone, a marble, a granite.
Yeah.
The blue stone's very, very fragile, if you
Right.
will.
It's also
More-
now why the stone itself costs almost as much as the funeral itself.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So, but no, I totally understand. I just, if this is a way that you can remedy it, if it maybe.
Well, that's good knowledge. We need the knowledge.
Yeah.
Thank
know.
you.
do.
We do
Yeah.
need the knowledge, but I thank you, Doug, for this, and it will go in our folder for, we have plans, you know, we've got dead trees to take down and, you know, poison ivy to be sprayed and
Right.
stuff like that, you
Well,
know.
you think about that, what do you do with a cemetery when all the plots are sold off? Where's your income after that?
Right.
That's right.
Look at Pine Grove. I
Well-
mean, the town of Northbridge ended up taking it over,
Yeah, yeah, right.
you know? And I never thought about that up until probably when Pine Grove was saying, okay, we can't maintain it on our own anymore. There's no perpetual maintenance fund for it.
No,
Nope.
Then what do
No.
you do?
no,
So,
no, we don't have a Department of Public Works, so we're on our own.
Yeah.
We're dangling,
no, you're right, you're right.
dangling, you know, with
Yeah.
a few $1,000s, basically, so.
Yeah, there's nobody leaves money in a fund, a trust
And
fund. or
we're way
anything
down
like
here,
that.
you know, 6 feet under. We're not,
Yeah.
we're not top, we try.
Right.
We try, believe me.
But no, like I say, I'm happy to look at anything like that.
Okay.
Give my input and so
Good,
forth, whatever we
good, I
can
thank you.
do to help,
Yep.
you know?
No, we need expert help, there's no question,
Yeah.
no question. So I appreciate your coming by and laying that out for us.
No
That's what
problem.
Bill Condiff recommended, that I ask the landscaper to look at it, because
Yeah.
he did not have
Right.
Yeah,
the knowledge to give an assessment.
Bill doesn't know what our budget is, I don't think.
Maybe he
Probably
can,
not.
maybe
No.
he can help you with it, but no, like I say,
No,
might.
no, he's good, he's good.
you know, I don't know what the the tomb as far as what the vault, the ceiling vault is. I mean, it might be something that you could expose it, not have a problem, but I wouldn't want to find that
No,
out the hard way.
it's a slab. Apparently,
slab.
it's that deep. And apparently it was, as the story goes, it was brought by wagon from Uxbridge.
Yeah.
So it's granite.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it is a flat piece that is plonked on the top of it.
Okay. So I think the most important thing then is to keep water shedding off of it as opposed
That's
to
right, right.
penetrating into it.
Yep, yep.
All right, like I say,
Well, I
anytime.
thank you very, very much.
Not a problem.
We appreciate it, believe me.
Thank you.
No problem at all. You have my number.
I do.
Yep,
Okay.
we've got it right here.
Now let you get on with your meeting.
Thank you.
All right?
Thank you very much.
All right, you're welcome. Have a good night.
Yes, you too.
Take care.
Okay, the next thing up under the Douglas Center Cemetery update, in speaking with John Furno today when I saw him, I also mentioned to him that the price of the plots had gone up to $1,500, which I also have to explain to you, Betsy, whether there is no separate price if it's just cremations that are buried there. I realized after, when I was looking at the minutes to type them up, that you said, is that for straight burial? And I wasn't sure if you were asking if there was a different price for cremation. So I just wanted to clarify that. But anyway, John Furno said that I should,
Information can go anywhere. You can put it anywhere.
Well, you can put a number, I guess, in a
You can
particular.
put it in your yard.
oh, well,
No, no,
I
I'm
don't know
talking
about that. I'm saying, no, at the cemetery, each plot can hold up to 8. So since we only sell double plots, you could put 16 family members.
Cremated, you can probably put a whole ton.
I
another
asked
name
John Furno about that, and in Douglas Center Cemetery, we can only do, as far as burials, when you said 3 deep, we can only do 1. We don't have the equipment.
Okay.
Anyway, getting back to what I was saying, this is a letter I just put together that if you ladies agree, I can just run off 4 more copies, and I can send it to the local funeral homes, which is Jackman,
Oh,
Booma.
to notify them of the price.
Yeah,
increase.
just that the price increase, and that if they have any questions, they can contact John.
Okay.
Because, you know, it's also good to always have a paper trail.
Want me to sign it?
No, I just put the cemetery commission. I thought that would be enough. Okay, I'm going to put this right here for now so I know to make copies. Okay, so if there's no question, I make a motion that we notify funeral directors of plot increase.
I will second it.
Okay,
So moved.
all righty. Okay.
Are we still on old business or are we on new business?
No, we're still on old business.
Okay.
Motions to accept. Okay, the next thing is, well, actually, no, you know what, we can, it's about the letter to the plot owners regarding maintenance.
Oh, about the stuff?
I'd rather table that till next month if we could. Is that okay
I
with
have
you?
no objection. No.
Okay, the new
business.
business. The first thing,
Are we off of old business?
yeah, we're on new
I
business.
have one more old business.
What?
I would like Christine Furno to have a key. I think this commission voted on it about 1.5 years ago, and I would like access to that cabinet.
I'll have one made.
Thank you.
Can I ask you what you're looking for in that cabinet?
I don't know yet. I'll see when I see it. I believe I should have access to it. Is that correct?
Nobody's ever asked before. That's all.
Oh, okay.
There doesn't seem to be any interest, that's all. We take the ledger out from time to time.
So the only thing that's in there is a ledger.
All the minutes from the past since we got.
There's I don't even know if there's minutes in there. I know that there's
Really?
from old projects and that in there, because Christine, as the town clerk, she has all the minutes, so if anybody wants the minutes, she can print them out from her computer. As far as who's buried where, there's nothing like that in the file cabinets. That's all over at the library. So anything else,
Well, the ledger's there, we know that, and so are the deeds.
no, I have the deeds right now,
Do you?
Where do you have them?
right here.
Oh, okay. Those are all the deeds.
But no, those are the deeds for the new section.
Right.
There are no deeds for the old section. Because, first of all, anybody that's buried there before 1899 is not even in, that book is 1899, that's it. So anything before that, it's, you walk through the cemetery and you start writing things down. That's how we are going to find out who's buried where. A lot of the names, if you look in the beginning of the ledger, because I spent a month going over that, all the names that are listed in the front, you might not find them in the back, and vice versa. What you might find in the back of the book as to what the deeds looked like is not going to be in the front. So,
I'd like to see it.
huh?
I think it was like 16 years ago that we got the file cabinet, maybe long, maybe less, maybe 14. You'd have to go back and look at when we paid for it. Up until that time, the only paperwork...
That invoice might be in there.
Yeah, that's true. The paperwork we had was zero.
Oh, yeah.
We had nothing. What was handed to me when I was first elected, when the 3 people left, was the ledger. And that had been kept in an individual's home.
The only person I remember being on there was John
So-
Manning.
So all of that, whatever happened before that, there is no record. So basically what we said is, the ledger should not leave the building. The ledger should be here.
That's correct.
It should not be in
Oh, I
someone's
agree.
personal home. And therein is how we got the money to buy. So we put that in there, and then a subsequent paperwork for acquisitions. I think the paperwork for Pine Grove Cemetery, when we did the little bit of work there, which was probably the most, I would say, I don't know whether you call it the most industrious project. Anyway, we took down all the barbed wire and all the rusty fencing and replaced some of the granite posts that were compromised. Some of them were split and broken. They had had things, all kinds of material banged into them. And lots of poison ivy, lots of bittersweet. The neighbors were not happy. So we installed as many replacement granite posts, and then we put in the black coated chain, which coincided with the same ornamentation as around the Congregational Church.
Oh, yeah. Yep, that's right.
Later to find out, or during that process, I should say, not later, during the process of that, we were recommended by town engineer to have the area looked at as far as our boundaries. We found that, in fact, the town didn't own it.
Second Congregational Church owned it.
That's right. So then we had to change the deed. The deed, it had to be deeded by the church to the town. Otherwise, we would run into public funds for private. And we would have to halt. We couldn't do it.
Right.
That's illegal.
Yes, it is.
So we got that changed. But up until that time, apparently, the town had been maintaining as best it could. And it was just a matter of mowing, I think, from the mill.
Excuse me, can I just, getting back to the file cabinet, just so you know, Betsy, too, at least I know since I'm on the commission, none of us have ever gone into the file cabinet alone. There's always been another board member, commission member.
Is that in your bylaws?
She could do that with
Christine.
town clerk if she wishes, right?
I don't know.
If she's, well, we've never had it,
Is
so.
that in our bylaws?
I didn't know we had it.
I don't know if you have any bylaws.
No, we don't.
Well,
Good, so I don't have to worry about it then.
okay. The next thing on the.
No, I just think it's protocol, that's all, because of,
Oh, Christine will
you
sit
know,
with me.
it's,
I promise I won't take anything home.
no, it's good policy, that's all. Because I wouldn't, I've only been in there once, I think, in 15 years, so.
I've only been in there twice to get the only time I've been in there is to get the
Well,
ledger.
no, we've been in more than that to get the ledger. Come on.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, put it back.
Okay, the next thing under new business is walkabouts of South Street and Pine Grove cemeteries. I think we, as a commission, should set up a time and perhaps, not perhaps, we should walk, pick one cemetery each time and do a walkabout of the cemetery to determine, if anything, what we feel needs to be
You
done.
mean to add to the list of to-do things.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. On the walkabout, there's that tree in South Street
Well,
Cemetery.
let's not talk about right now. Let's, when we do the cemetery, when we do the walkabout.
Well, because that was the walkabout.
No, the three of us as a commission.
Oh,
And you'll understand why
I
I'm
don't know
saying
whether,
that
yeah.
when
all
I
right.
get up to this secretarial report.
Oh, all right.
All right, so if we pick a date, can you do that, Betsy?
I can try. I mean, I don't always have
I know.
a schedule that coincides to everything. We're not we're always written in stone.
Mine is after work, so it's after 6 o'clock.
Yeah, it gets dark at 7:30. 7:30, quarter of 8.
All right, so how does Friday, September 7th sound? We could,
Friday, September 7th.
Well,
Pine Grove Cemetery.
we could just set that date.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
I'm saying.
September what?
7th.
Okay,
At Pine Grove, we'll do that one first.
yeah.
Pine Grove. At what time?
7?
Or 6:30?
6:30, that's fine.
Yeah, is that all right with you?
fine.
Well, you don't know yet, right?
Yeah.
You won't know yet, no. It-
Okay.
Subject to change.
There you go.
Okay. And while we're at it, why don't we just put the following Friday for South Street as a,
All right. What date is that?
the 14th.
Well, that makes sense, doesn't it?
At 6:30.
Oh, excuse me, 6:30. All right, what are you gonna do about Broken Stones?
Okay, we have, Betsy, I don't know if we had, if you know about this, if we had told you about this, the screen house, or if Adam mentioned it to you.
Full of stones, broken stones that came from the old shed that they took down.
No, they did not come from the old shed. They came from 3 different cemeteries.
Where did the stones from the shed go?
Some of them, those are in there, but there's also stones from Pine Grove in there, and there's also stones from South Street in there.
Okay.
And I took pictures of them, but
Are they headstones or footstones?
headstones.
So there's no footstones there.
I'm sure there's both,
Okay.
but I think we need to do another, because we really never did a full assessment.
I looked at them all when they were in the shed, the ones that were in the shed.
I
There was quite a
understand
few.
that, but I think we should do it as a commission,
Okay,
all righty?
to look at them?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And put some kind of a booklet or whatever together so that we have it.
You can get a lot of those death certificates and death burial certificates off of Ancestry.com.
Anything else in that department?
Give me a second here. Okay, yes, under new business, other. Because of what we did today in the cemetery, there are 1, 2, 3. All right, there's 3 deeds that had to be renumbered, so I need you each to sign them. And this is Shirley Mazinski's for her plot. And this is the letter for the 3 that were renumbered.
Before we had these printed, the policy apparently was ripping the pages out of the ledger.
Oh,
So to stop that behavior,
you drew up these.
these are replacement.
Well, this new deed,
To the
which
pages.
basically says the same thing, Betsy, as the old one, but it was,
We don't have to rip a page out.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, Mr. Diorsi. Where is Carriage Drive?
It's the road in front of, this here they call Carriage Drive.
Road that goes down to the soccer field?
No, here. Here's the front section of the new the new section.
Oh, they call that
They call that Carriage Drive.
Rover.
It went from being called Dirt Drive to Carriage Drive.
Okay.
So. Okay, and, alrighty. Okay, Shirley, you and I are not getting out of here that fast tonight. So, okay, the financial report, is that all the,
Broken Stone.
okay,
I would like to bring something up about stones that have fallen over.
okay,
I don't know whether me or a group of us could get together. Every time they mow around them, the ones that have fallen flat, they get
Right.
covered, and they get covered. The next thing you know, they're buried, they're gone, whatever. I would like to at least lift them up somehow, either put bricks underneath them or some form of cement form so that at least they're tilted so that the mowing doesn't cover them.
I agree, And I also think if they're laying down, they should put them up against the tree.
If well, Douglas Center, the trees are not that plentiful, so. But there's a lot that have fallen over, that, you know, I just see them. Every time they mow, the grass falls over it, and,
Right.
you know,
Right.
so I would
Right.
like,
We've, in the past, with things like that, with some of the stones that have either taken a blow or some cars backed into them or whatever, we have had this guy repair and what does he call it? He calls it reestablish.
okay.
Yeah.
and he does a really, really nice job.
What is his last name?
Yeah, here we go. We'd have to.
Gaetano, Gaetano. I think that's how you say it, but I know that's how you spell it.
I thought it was.
Yeah, but there's probably about 30 or
Gaetano.
40 of them in Douglas Center. I hate to
Well,
say
we
it.
can't afford to.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but what we
I just
did.
don't want them buried.
No, what
No,
we.
but you know what? You mentioned that, Betsy, and I think I had mentioned it once before. I think it might be worth a shot if, with some of these, if perhaps family.
Yeah, with those stones.
You never know.
You know.
I hate to say it, you'd have to do a lot of genealogy to find a living relative. Some of
Well,
those
I know
from
in the
early
town-
1800s.
The town that I lived in, I had a relative in the local cemetery. The stone was broken. And they contacted my father and the family chipped in. We put a new stone in. I mean, so,
I know. I think the last time we had him do any work was when? About 3 or 4 years ago?
yeah, about that.
And usually it's because we have, I don't know if you know what the budget is, but
Zero.
we have a few dollars. And so instead of turning it back to the town, you'll call him and say, can you do, we've got half a dozen stones. What will you charge us to do that? And we've been very fortunate with most of the people that have worked with us. I can honestly say satisfaction and people that have gone above and beyond and done extra. So, and he did a nice job, didn't he? Mm-hmm. You saw some of the
He
work.
did a very good job.
Yeah. I mean, you wouldn't know that there was a fracture in the stone. Sometimes fractures are not easy to see. It's like in the Pine Grove Cemetery, basically when they were taking all the material away from it being affixed to a granite post, it just shattered.
Well, I tell you what, but I
Been
mean,
there for 100+ years.
if you don't have an objection, I would say, you said that if you and a group of people, I personally don't have an objection to it. I mean, if you want to undertake this, all I would ask is that, let us know when you're getting started, with it. Keep us up to date on it and just document everything and take pictures of, each stone. But the biggest thing is to keep us informed of what's going on. I don't know how you feel about that, Shirley.
Yeah, I think it's,
Well, I mean, as I go
Personally,
along and find them on the ground, I would pick them up. I take pictures of them anyway.
So could you send them to me too?
The pictures of all the stones,
Yeah.
I have almost 1,200.
How do you, but, all right, I have flash drives up the kazootie.
Oh, yeah, no, I store them off-site in the cloud.
All right, well,
where's 1,200?
1,200, that's how many stones I've done in Douglas Center.
No, I mean fractured ones, broken ones?
No.
Oh, I'm
Oh,
sorry. I
no,
thought-
you only want the broken ones.
yeah, no, yeah, I only want the broken ones.
Oh, yeah, no.
Well, because we have to do that to point out with this DiCatano guy who, has done work in the past for us. We've got to sort of line out who it is that we want him
Yeah,
to do.
Adelaide Adams, I know she's one that I had done in the before. She wasn't broken when I did it, now she's broken.
Because what I'm doing right now, Betsy, as I had just mentioned before, taking, reassessing, going through all the stones. That's what I'm doing. I'm keeping all the pictures on the computer so that when we start, I physically can't go and do anymore, but I do the paperwork.
Okay. And I would
Because-
like Sarah to be able to keep that form until that cemetery is done. I'm going to tell you that right now because that's a big project.
All right, if she
And I would
has,
like it finished.
okay, if she has the book and she's doing it,
She is.
that's fine. But what I would ask is before it goes to the library, that it come here so we can at least see it.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah, because I have no time to undertake another cemetery.
No, I understand that.
She took all those classes with, down in Rhode Island,
Yeah. No,
with
that's
Sue
good.
Perkins,
Yeah.
so. She is very well informed.
Oh, no, I know, Sarah, is the reason why, and I apologize, the reason why I got upset before was because when Sue came before us and asked for the book, she was going to keep us updated.
Yeah.
That
right.
was why I got upset. But anyway, that's
Pass
it.
on, pass on.
Okay. All right, let me just go.
And I'm still working on mine, so.
Well, yours isn't,
It goes on and on and on.
I don't know if I'll live to see the end, so.
oh, God forbid. Okay, the next thing is the financial report.
Well, you don't want to hear about my walkabout with my tree?
Oh, yes, tell Betsy about your walkabout with the tree.
You
Listen
went
to
down to
about her
visit the trees
tree.
down at South Street?
There's a tree that has to come down.
Is it on town property?
It's in the
In the
cemetery.
cemetery.
Is it on town property?
No, it's in the cemetery.
It's South Street.
Yes.
The town
Yeah.
owns that.
Yes.
Yeah. The town, he has a budget for that.
What?
John Furno has a budget for that. Tree removal. Of course he does.
No, it doesn't do any of our cemetery work.
No.
Oh,
We're a separate budget. Town doesn't do nothing for us.
No, that if it's
Their
inside
finances.
the perimeter of the cemetery,
town property, isn't it?
No, it's separate because we do not
That's-
have the
that-
Department of Public Works. If we had a Department of Public Works, then yes, it would come under Parks and Recreation.
They took down the trees
we
in front
have
of my
different
property. It
groups.
was on town property.
No,
that's different. This is a cemetery, so they could say inside after the count.
Is it good wood?
anyway,
Maybe you could find somebody else to do it for free. Would they take the wood?
Oh,
I don't know, it's diseased, I believe. It's heavily diseased, I think.
Do you know
I
what
mean,
kind
I'm
of
not an
tree it is?
expert. I am having someone stop by tomorrow who's taken trees down for us before. And so I'm going to point it out. I think he knows about it because of the other diseased trees that we have.
To get a quote? Are you trying to
I
get a
want
quote?
him to tell
Look at
me
it.
what the condition of the tree is, and because he won't take it down if it's alive, you know.
Right.
So if it can be treated, sometimes they can. I doubt this very much, but we needed an expert to look, an arborist to look at it. So
Oh, I know one too. Sam Foppama.
this is somebody who's done work with us. He's taken down trees for the last, I don't know, 15 years. And planted also. So when he takes down trees, we try to finagle that we can find enough for him to get some trees in so that we're not clear cutting, which is, I'm afraid, is what's, trees were in bad shape. Well, he took one down last year in Douglas Center, on the corner. I mean, that one, we had waited probably 4 or 5 years before we had the money to do it.
definitely.
Anyway, so I just wanted you to know that I'm bringing that up. If in fact I do touch base with him tomorrow, so we'll have a report back at the next meeting.
Okay. Alrighty, are we ready
I
for the
haven't
next?
heard from this guy. I put in a call to remind him
Was that all
Oh,
and
John?
get him to at least give me something in writing. And he said he would, okay? But I haven't got it. So those are two things which pertain to that loom.
Okay.
But not until probably September, October.
What, the pilot loom?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he gave us a figure of $200.
To spread it?
I don't know if we'll have that, but, you know, we'll see.
Okay. Okay, for financial, we just have, I have a voucher here for the mowing from A and B for 7/27/18. The amount is $1,450. And Betsy, I just need you to put your signature under my name, please.
Do we have a contract with them?
Yep.
Oh, good. Can I see it?
Have you got it with you?
No, I don't.
Well, I'd like to see it.
Okay.
Do we get bids on these every year?
No.
Should we?
No.
Why?
It's the amount. They only, it's up to a certain amount. If it goes to 10,000, then you have to have bids.
Oh, I never heard that before.
No?
Yeah, that's
No.
that's a
state law.
state. Yeah.
Oh.
Actually,
It used to be
He
depending,
has up to 10,000 that he can spend.
actually up to, depending on even what it's for, in some cases, it's up to $25,000.
I'll have to look into that.
Yeah.
It used to be 5 when we first, well, not you,
Yeah,
but
but
when I
it-
first started, it was
yeah.
$5,000. Well, so that's when we did go out to bids, and it was like, it was just such a time waster. So they got it up to 10.
Yeah, because first of all, most commercial don't want to do cemeteries.
No, but, so that kind of saved us. We only had to put it out for bids, I think, well, once because of the damage. We did that year. Because we were in dire straits. And the following year, we did it, and then nobody, we had 7 people apply and nobody wanted it. So we were still in dire straits, you know?
Okay, the next thing on the financial statement is we received our 6-month statement from the Greater Worcester Foundation, the Douglas Center Cemetery Preservation Fund. It ended from January 1, 2018 to June 30th, 2018. $0. The beginning fund balance is $50,585.31, and the ending fund balance is $50,679.59.
So how much did we make?
Investment gains and losses is 204.71. Interest and dividends, 394.92, minus 249.59 for the management and custody, all total $350.04.
Good? Sounds good.
Yep. Okay, the next thing is the secretary, well, corresponding secretary, whatever you want to call it, statement, report. The first thing, we received an email from Suzanne Kane to all board and committee chairs regarding the board and commission members' code of conduct. And the code of conduct states that realize that her function is to follow basically what it is saying
On that test?
Yeah, every
You
year.
could, okay.
every 3 years.
Right.
2 years, 2 years.
I thought it was 3. Yeah.
No, 2.
2?
Because I took it, I think I have
I had to
to,
do it in Uxbridge too.
It's realized that her function is to follow the purposes and mission of the board, commission, or committee as defined in state and federal laws, local bylaws, and town policies. Realize that she is one of a team and should abide by all decisions of the board, commission, or committee once they are made. Be well informed concerning the duties and responsibilities. Remember that she represents the entire community at all times. Accept that the role of a committee member is a means of unselfish service, not to benefit personally or politically from their board, commission, or committee. Abide by the ethics, open meeting, and public record laws established by the state. Not make statements or promises of how she will vote on matters that will come before the board, commission, or committee until she has had an opportunity to hear all sides of the issue during a public meeting of the board, commission, or committee. Make decisions only after all the facts have been presented and discussed at an official meeting or hearing. Treat with respect all members of the board, commission, committee, and the public despite differences of opinion. Never publicly criticize an employee of the town. Certain boards, commissions, and committees have the responsibility of reviewing and/or critiquing supervisory personnel as part of their regular duties. The exercise of those duties shall not be limited by this section. Concerns about staff performance should only be made to the executive administrator through private conversation or similarly to the superintendent of schools for school department staff. And lastly, if circumstances change so that the meeting attendance on a regular basis becomes difficult, the board, commission, or committee member will offer her resignation to the town clerk and a copy to the appointing authority. A member with 3 consecutive unexplained absences will be expected to resign. That's it.
Good.
Okay, do you want a copy of this, Betsy?
No, I think I'm good.
Okay. The next thing we have is we received an email from American Gravestone Association. Do you belong to that?
I do.
Okay, so then you must have got this too, about their full meeting on October 6th in South Windsor. Okay, all right, so that's good then. And the last thing is, Shirley, you got from the Board of Assessors about the senior work-off program, and we had discussed this. This came before us a few years ago, and we, after much deliberation, it's not conducive to have a senior working in those cemeteries.
Alone.
Yeah. So we normally just don't.
I work in there alone.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm a senior, but
I'm a senior too.
I'm a senior too.
Yep.
no, but I think that it was a wise decision on our part, okay?
Yes. Yes. Okay, next is the next meetings.
All right, before that, I should have brought it in here, up here, because I did pay a visit to town administrator to inform him of the information we'd received from our person that takes care of our lawn, to tell him or give them an update on the increase in his rates. So they are aware of it, the town treasurer and the town administrator. It was very brief, in, out. No discussion.
Okey-doke.
He just thanked us for informing him, that's all.
Okay, and our next meeting is September 25th And for October 23rd.
Is it going to conflict with any of the activities in October?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
So September,
25th.
and October 23rd.
Mm-hmm.
And then what, you don't meet all winter, right?
Yeah, we do.
Oh, you do?
Not every, no, not every
Not every
month.
month, but we do meet. Yeah, depending on what's happening,
Yeah.
you know.
Okay. All righty, if there's nothing else, I make a motion to adjourn.
I second.
So moved. Thank you and good evening.